Something sinister lies at the bottom of the abyssal depths, submerged deep in the intricate expanse of a vast alien ocean. The exotic life lurking in the unearthly bednik pits may seem like a frightening encounter, unless, that is, you are a sentient scuba suit. In Other Waters takes you on an otherworldly maritime adventure, where you roleplay exclusively as the conscious compass for a xenobiologist. A fishy situation has surfaced from the murky depths, and it's up to you to take on the pressure and dive deep down into the other waters. As a navigational AI, you'll discover what swims through the fathoms beneath the sea, scan and study all manner of uncanny aquatic organisms, and uncover the dark secrets of an alien planet. I'm Ilona of Gaming Life Cafe, and this is my review of In Other Waters. Following the signal of her long-lost friend across the expanse of space, alien biologist Ellery lands on the oceans of Gliese 677cc, only to find that the planetary base and all its research labs are mysteriously void of human life. To make things worse, a malfunction in her diving suit has rendered manual locomotion impossible, so Ellery must rely on you, a built-in AI, to guide and maneuver her through the briny alien sea. With no human eyes to see, you use an oceanographic radar to help her navigate through the uncharted waters. As you track down Ellery's friend Minae, you realize something is off about this unique oceanic ecosystem. The biomes and sea creatures seem to have gone through an evolution of sorts. In Other Waters, your primary goals will be to find Minae, to understand this planet's ecology, and to unearth what kind of tragic events transpired in the oceans of Gliese. Similar to the AI in Subnautica, your central functions are to scan and document the aquatic flora and marine life forms, chart new underwater routes, and collect biotic samples for further research. Movement is quite restricted, as you can only move from one plotted point to another via an overhead view of the environment. Block pathways require you to organically interact with the barriers, using the specimens you've gathered, or upgrade Ellery's scuba gear. For example, by exploding small gaseous bubbles close to a reef, the obstructing stalks retract, which in turn opens up new passages. Areas that are inaccessible because of strong water currents can be bypassed by using your upgraded propulsion system. Bear in mind there is a limit to everything you use in Other Waters. Your UI displays how much fuel and oxygen is left in your suit, but the game is very forgiving, and it is very unlikely you'll ever run into any shortage problems throughout a playthrough. As an AI, you see the world strictly through data. The marine life appears to you as colorful shapes. Gauges and meters explain the surrounding environment, and Ellery's one-sided dialogue describes the subaquatic scenery through brief chunks of text. Exploring the labyrinthine depths in Other Waters is straightforward. First, Ellery will plot a point of interest on the map, and then you must essentially play a slow game of connect the dots while scanning everything within your telescopic radius. You thoroughly inspect what's on screen and then push forward point by point. Each scan will bring up a text box that verbally visualizes what Ellery physically sees. But to you, everything appears as moving dots, blinking circles, or triangular points. Any data or samples you collect along the way are logged into your system, which you can check later when returning to base. While this whole process varies slightly, with extra mechanics introduced as the story progresses, the core gameplay loop stays relatively the same throughout. In a nutshell, the experience consists of traveling at a snail's pace to said location, scanning everything in sight, learning something new that advances the narrative, and repeat, over and over. On the other hand, In Other Waters features an entirely handcrafted ocean ecosystem. All the plant life and oceanic organisms are neatly cataloged within the in-game taxonomy database. It describes their distinct observations, behaviors, theories, and even picturesque sketches. The amount of effort put into making the habitats of Gliese as believable as possible is nothing more than astounding. Alien biology lovers and lore research enthusiasts will find all this information to be an absolute treat. The stylish, real-world inspired UI in Other Waters is intuitive as it is simplistic. Without any aggravating pop-ups or countless side tabs, the interface is well polished, and although it barely changes throughout a playthrough, it never becomes redundant to look at. The vivid colors on the display do an excellent job of interpreting to the player how the surroundings are supposed to feel, despite nothing actually being visible. Together with the bright contrast of aquamarine and turquoise, the neon yellows produce a sensation of being close to the brightly lit surface of the water. The darker shades of color effectively feed into the atmosphere, plunging deep into the abyss. Tones like the deep orange and darker crimson in the later areas provoke a sense of evil and visceral distress. The sublime soundtrack couples with the gameplay atmosphere in perfect unison. The lo-fi mix of sci-fi tones and eerie waves often breathe life into the gameplay's slightly monotonous experience. Likewise, the pulsing and echoey synthetic melodies expertly combine a maritime aura with outer space vibes. While In Other Waters was indeed a unique one-of-a-kind experience, I have several qualms with the game itself. The concept was a delicate blend of text-based sci-fi narrative and user interface-oriented gameplay, yet it just didn't suit my personal tastes. The experience was musing and hypnotic at best, but sluggishly dull and boring at worst. Of course, I can't say I wasn't intrigued throughout my adventure with Ellery, but being a navigational AI for a deep-sea xenobiologist is as fun as it sounds. It's just not. Like gravy without the mashed potatoes, the plot thickened while the gameplay felt oftentimes absent. It felt like I was tinkering with the map UI of a bigger game with more exciting gameplay to come. Hoping the game would surprise me, I really wanted to move on from staring at a compass all day to more meaty gameplay or a deeper narrative. Even the text boxes sometimes felt tedious because I was too busy scanning everything in sight to even take time to read them. Now, you may think the game wants you to progress along at a gradual speed, but the situation is made worse with areas and biomes that drain your oxygen and fuel at a faster rate than normal. The salient story was captivating, yet notably compact, and only strung out by the restrictive and prosaic connect-the-dots gameplay. By the time I understood the big picture and wanted a bit more clarification, In Other Waters had already reached its conclusion. To conclude, In Other Waters is an immersive adventure for those who want to experience what it's like to be the undervalued AI companion in exploration games. The impressive audio-visual designs are nothing less than spectacular, and the game's concept is genuinely novel. If you love fiddling with a fancy UI, or collecting data from an alien world that you'll never fully experience, this game could be for you. Unfortunately, the life of a biologist's AI is both fascinating yet regrettably lackluster. Despite having dived deep into the depths of a mysterious alien ocean, In Other Waters left me with an unforgettable yet shallow experience. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, consider kindly leaving a like, or even subscribe for more of my cheesy game-related content. A written version of this review is available on my blog, which there is a link to in the description. What are your thoughts about In Other Waters? Would you ever want to play as the AI for an alien undersea biologist? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments below. This has been your friend Milona of Gaming Life Cafe. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.